Right. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Unparished Area Committee meeting of 1st December 2025. Or should I say the formerly unparished area. Regarding apologies for absence, item 1, I've received apologies from Councillor Martin Buffy. Are there any other apologies for noting? No. Agenda item 2, on the pages 3 to 4 of your packs are the minutes of the previous meeting. I move that the minutes of the meeting held on the 20th of October 2025 be approved as a correct record. Do I have a seconder? Thank you, Councillor Franklin. Does anyone wish to comment on the accuracy of these minutes? Seeing none. Are you all agreed that I may sign the minutes as a correct record? Agreed. Thank you very much. Item 3 is announcements. Of course, this meeting follows the recent council meeting where the decision was made to create a parish council in the previously unparished area of Horsham town. But a reminder that the remit for this committee is to discuss the special charge for the next financial year of 26-27, which we shall be doing next. 4, to receive any declarations of interest from members. Does any member have an interest to declare in respect of the item on tonight's agenda? Councillor Fletcher.
I'm a member of Den Neighbourhood Council.
Thank you very much, Councillor Fletcher. So that moves us on to item 5 of the agenda, the unparished area budget. So you will see the report was in your packs. I'm not necessarily going to read it in full, except for the recommendation. That is, the committee is recommended to recommend the proposed 2026-27 special charge to the Cabinet Member for Finance and Resources for inclusion in the 26-27 revenue budget. Do I have a seconder for this before we begin to discuss? Seconder, Councillor Franklin. Okay, so now we can move on to discussing the report. Obviously, we have attached to the report information on not only the special charge, but the expected future town parish precept. And in the appendix A, you shall see the proposed special charge expenditure for 26-27. Before we move into questions from everyone else, I will just note a few questions that I submitted in advance. Obviously, I believe there was a request at the last meeting to separate out bandstands and bandstand events, so that's been noted in the special charge list for next year. In addition, obviously we are now aware that the neighbourhood councils are expected to still run for a period into next year. So there is an allocation to fund the neighbourhood councils for that month from the 1st of April till the elections of the town council, when the town council will officially start. In addition, the expenditure on the Blackbridge Community Centre we shall see has increased, and that is to cover roof repairs that have been proposed by the council officers. And just to note, if it is not completed in 26-27, this would be ring-fenced for future years through the earmarked reserves, specifically for the Blackbridge Community Centre. And my other question, obviously we've seen the Tambar lighting has been included, and then I did inquire about the community warden car. My understanding is the infrastructure needed for that doesn't require it to be fully EV at the moment, because it is mostly parked in Swan Walk when it is not in use, and there aren't charging points in Swan Walk at the moment. Though we can hope for the future that might change. So I will move on to questions on the floor. Trudy.
Wrong button. Gotcha. It's to do with the grants to the neighbourhood councils, because I don't know how that's actually been allocated, whether it's 4 weeks or 5 weeks. But I think there should be some contingency for any bills that arrive during that period, and also, any unexpected expenses, because that barely covers the salaries. And there will now be hall meeting. I can't think off the top of my head what there might be that we would need to include, but I think there does need to be a contingency sum.
May I turn to officers if they wanted to comment on that suggestion?
I believe that there are some reserves that you have that would cover those sorts of contingencies, just as they would at any other time of the year.
I don't think we have any reserves left at all. The other councils may have, but I don't believe that Den will have at that stage.
I suppose my question would be whether the other councils would be prepared to share that with them.
They're not obliged to, I think.
Judy, I would note that at the moment, the special charge is balanced to show no increase over the previous year, without obviously amending another line item. We wouldn't be able to increase the line item of the grants to neighbourhood councils. I see your point. I believe that is projected as probably 1/12 of the previous grant. Am I correct on that calculation? So that is for 1 month.
And in fact, we'll actually run for at least 5 weeks longer, because it will take time to dissolve the neighbourhood councils, but we will be operating for 5 weeks.
I believe this might be a question for Democratic Services, but I believe that neighbourhood councils have made the decision to extend their life to that point,
Yes.
where they don't necessarily need to be extended past the 1st of April. Am I correct in that?
We've decided, because otherwise there will be no representation at planning for anyone in the unparished area.
And the planning meetings being bi-monthly or twice a month would be included in that month, and there will not be a planning meeting during the week of the elections, I would
But
doubt.
there will be consultations that we receive that we'll need responding to within 21 days.
Do any other councillors have any comments on this point? Councillor Fletcher.
Well, I'd strongly support the neighbourhood councils continuing to operate, so that there's no gap between the end of the financial year and the new town council coming into effective operation. And as Trudy Mitchell points out, they won't necessarily dissolve themselves immediately on the dot of the coming in, because it may take a while to just wind down bank accounts and so on. So the combination of there has only been a month's worth of budget put in for that special charge, and that there may be contingencies there, means that we do need to come up with some arrangement, either through this line item or elsewhere, in order to cover those potential costs, and potentially any costs that might still continue. For example, if the websites need to be kept going after the town council comes into being, so that people who are looking for the neighbourhoods can get redirected or use the website until the town council website is up and running. I would suggest that it's not an issue overall in terms of the whole special charge budget for next year. There's the Blackbridge Community Centre roof item is something that may not happen immediately. I've looked to the officers for how we actually managed doing this, but I'm broadly supportive of the view that that the principle is we must enable the neighbourhood councils to carry on operating until the town council is fully up and running on this.
From my perspective, we're venturing into governance questions, to be completely honest, I do not believe it was discussed at the governance meeting to which I was attended, that additional time or funding for the neighbourhood councils to exist past May was considered for winding up purposes, etc. I guess my question to officers from resources, if there was a need for the neighbourhood councils to exist past the May date of originally anticipated dissolution, would there be the potential for them to come back and ask for additional funds to keep running until they have wound down completely, if necessary? Can they ask?
Well, they can certainly ask, of course. There may be some flexibility because Trudy and I have been discussing, haven't we, about the road safety item, and we just need to calculate exactly how much that item will cost, and there may be some excess budget in that line that we could transfer across and still keep the bottom envelope the same out of one line into the other. But we will just need to put our heads together on that to see how much that may free up there. It's not likely to be a significant amount, but it could be, you know, another week's worth, for example.
And we are able to make that change mid-year or after this is approved?
Well, this of course is just a recommendation too, isn't it? So we could do that subject to that line, perhaps,
Okay.
For myself and Trudy and others to get together to bottom that one out before it gets recommended to the cabinet member.
Councillor Fletcher, want to add on?
I'd just say I'd welcome that. I think the sums involved are very small. It's just that it needs to be plus 1 penny, not minus 1 penny, because the neighbourhood council can't go into debt. So that's very reassuring. Thank you.
Thank you. Were there any other questions on any of the line items? Councillor Minto? Mike, please.
Not necessarily line items, so I'm happy to come back at AOB, but I've got myself in a bit of confusion about when these charges are going to kick in and why. So is it okay to share that now?
You can ask the question now. Yes.
Yeah. So I read that we're obviously agreeing the special charge,
Yes.
but then I'm reading from the notes here that the town parish precept indicated was about the equivalent of £15.26. So what time is the £15.26 going to be applied to residents as well as the special charge? Because that's going to be a topic of conversation and question. And then I also know that different neighbourhood council special charges, I don't think it's uniform, is it? It's a different one for Forest, a different one for Den, a different one for Trafalgar, or are they the same currently? And if they're the same, then it's only 15.26 on the same. But if it's different, are we going to end up with a different charge for those living in different parts of the parish, the new parish council? No. Okay, good. There's some Colin be quiet shakes there, which is great.
Yeah. Remember, once the town council is formed, you know, there is no boundaries anymore between the neighbourhoods. That it is just the parish area, which is previously the unparished area. That will be the same precept to be decided by council in February. What that precept is, because there is no town council to decide that precept at the moment.
Correct.
So that will be a decision at council in February, and that will be one precept, the same per every resident, every council tax bill across the parished or unparished area, whichever it is technically now. And then just to clarify, the special charge again is levied at the same rate per council taxpayer household at the moment across the unparished area.
Okay.
It's just that the funding, the grants that went to the neighbourhood councils did differ slightly historically because they were different sizes.
Okay. So when it says that 15.26, which would be in addition to the special charge,
Yes.
that's where I think I'm getting a bit confused. So when does that kick in, that 15.26?
So from the 1st of April,
On the 1st of April.
as if you are a resident in those areas,
Yep.
you will get one bill with 2 lines on it. One for £15.26 and one for £40.59. One for the special charge and one for the precept.
So you add the two together, and that's maybe the equivalent of a parish council precept elsewhere.
Well, the parish council precepts differ dramatically across the district, but yes, it is in the middle of the pack at the moment, I believe, still towards the bottom end of what a total
Okay.
taxpayer outside of the unparished area pays for their parish council decided precept.
Okay.
And,
That's-
remember what's important is that special charge is not to fund the town council operations once it's created. I believe it was decided it couldn't. That's why the precept has to be levied in order to fund
Okay,
the town council.
Because there's additional XYZ resources, responsibilities, etc. And we've identified that there's an uplift then of £15.26
Yep.
to cover that additional. And all I'm thinking of is, what are people going to hit me with a why? Why has it gone up? Why? And then, so obviously, hopefully there'll be some detail as to it's gone up because we've had to invest in this. There's more resource. There's more this and the other. Yeah.
Well, it's basically for the administration costs of a new town council.
Including premises, salaries,
Yeah.
etc.
Which will be returning value to them in the form of something. Yeah. Downstream. Okay.
Diane.
I just wanted to clarify, Colin, if you look on the governance minutes, there is a breakdown of how the precept is calculated for that £15, and there are running costs mainly for the clerk and various things, and that will set it out so you can explain to your residents what it means. So that you've got two sets of calculations.
There isn't paid clerks at the moment, but there will be.
They're being advertised now.
Yeah. Got it. Understood. Thank you.
Any other questions from councillors? Yes, Diane.
Sorry, on some of these calculations where it's and we've got 100%, if residents actually looked at this, they would think the special charge funds a whole 100%, whereas on Blackbridge Lane, we don't pay the 100% of running the community centre, do we? Do we?
I believe we do.
So where's the income? Do we get any income from
That
it?
the amount in the special charge is the net expenditure for running the hall, so the income and the expenses.
So could that just be made clear it's net? Because if they look at it, they think, oh, it's 52,000, we have all the rentals coming in, just to clarify that. And the community warden car, it says 100% is 5,000.
Because it's a
That's
lease.
correct. Yeah.
Oh, it's a lease.
Yes.
Perhaps that could just be made clear. It's just if the residents now are going to be scrutinising both the precept and this, they need to understand fully what this 100% means.
It's a fair point. Thank you. Any other questions? Trudy, can I just ask that you're happy to accept the suggestions from officers regarding the neighbourhood council grants, but for the moment, that we would be voting to accept this recommendation as it's listed?
I think if it can be discussed further, yes.
Okay.
I was just going to check Park Barn presumably is a net figure as well.
Great. So we've had this motion proposed. Oh, sorry, council question.
I did just want to comment rather than a question to say thank you very much for the work that's gone on looking at the budget for this SID, and I'm really pleased to know that Den will be in a position to, as a result of that, to buy a SID for the area in this financial year.
Thank you. Seeing no further questions or comments, we've had this recommendation proposed and seconded, so therefore I ask, do you all agree with this proposal, recommendation? Agreed? That seems to be unanimous. So I thank you all. Item 6 on the agenda is urgent business. There is no urgent business, so I therefore can now declare the meeting closed. Thank you.